Before you listen, if you enjoy the stories and want to hear more, then please consider subscribing. Most of you listening aren't subscribed, so please take this time to subscribe. Turn on notifications so you'll never miss a story and be the first to hear. You'll also be supporting me. Thank you. I've always considered myself pretty tech-savvy. I build custom gaming PCs for friends, taught myself JavaScript last year when I was bored, and keep up with the latest trends in cryptocurrency and blockchain tech. So when my coworker Devin mentioned checking out hidden services on the dark web, my curiosity was instantly piqued. He made it sound mysterious and edgy, this secret underbelly of the internet with sites you supposedly couldn't access through normal browsers. I had to see for myself. When I got home, I did some Googling on how to safely access Onion sites, as they're called. The prep was more involved than I expected: special routing software, anonymous email, virtual machines, but I was committed. I set everything up carefully over the course of a week, troubleshooting connection issues and reading privacy forums. Finally, late one Saturday night when my wife Jenna was at book club, I felt ready to fall down this clandestine rabbit hole. The browser loaded slowly at first, a black screen with neon green text saying "connecting," as the encryption software routed my location through multiple proxy servers and onion routers. It took nearly 5 minutes before the first site loaded, the text interrupted sporadically by walls of Matrix-esque code cascading down the screen. No graphics, no ads, just plain site names and fragments of information. I skimmed the dizzying directory of obscure site names: Night Bank, Marmalade Circus, Black Phoenix. They gave no indication what sort of content lay inside. I hesitantly clicked a forum called Indie Bindi and watched thousands of threaded conversations load between anarchists and hackers and crypto fanatics. One massive thread was intensely debating contract assassinations paid in Bitcoin, while others coordinated political protests blocking major highways. Jaw-dropping, but definitely more than I bargained for. I quickly backed out and found a repository of torrents for obscure spaghetti westerns and bootleg concert recordings. Harmless stuff, but it still felt borderline illegal accessing it this way, like I had stumbled into a secret underworld most of society was oblivious to. The atmosphere was seedy, even if the sites so far weren't outright malicious. But there were no barriers here, no filters for decency or legality. It was unsettling. What else was lurking behind these unfamiliar links? I clicked another randomly generated address, curiosity and apprehension warring within me. The new page loaded slowly, showing what looked like an eBay for illegal substances and drugs. An amateur design for sure, just a menu of Vice's greatest hits. A quantity and Bitcoin price listed by each, simple as ordering a used books or vintage clothes. I felt my pulse quicken as I scanned the selection, like I had incidentally become complicit by mere witness. A voice in my head pleaded to turn back, but the options were too fascinating in a traumatic car crash kind of way. Vendors had ratings and reviews, drop shipping delivery options, refund policies for confiscated goods. It was an insane parallel version of Amazon where morality held no power. I finally clicked away from the drug bazaar, my fascination curling to dismay. I had seen more than I wanted of this lawless underground. I went to close my browser when a final site name grabbed my attention: Identities for Sale. It gave me chills, yet I couldn't resist clicking. Morbid curiosity overpowered better judgment, luring me to uncover what exactly lurked behind such an ominous link, ignoring the voice inside shouting to turn back while I still could. The site page loaded, black background with the same neon green text. No graphics or banners, just a menu listing countries across the top with prices in Bitcoin beside each. Scanning the options, identities seemed very upwardly priced. Canada was 0.5 Bitcoin, United Kingdom 0.4 Bitcoin, United States 0.3 Bitcoin. Strange. I selected United States, thinking little would come up. But the screen refreshed with over 24 profile options indexed by state. Hesitantly, I picked my own state and city, thinking the odds of recognizing anyone were infinitesimal. But almost instantly a new page loaded displaying 4 different identities for sale, including my wife Jenna. I stared in utter disbelief and mounting horror at a photo I knew was from her driver's license, along with her full legal name, birth date, home address, employer details at the ad agency where she works, and social security number. Someone was auctioning off my wife's entire identity on this twisted site. I frantically scrolled through the rest of the listings but didn't recognize anyone else. How was Jenna targeted and not me? Panicked thoughts raced as I kept rereading her details, trying to make sense of this nightmare. I couldn't wrap my head around who would do this or why. Jenna is the sweetest, most thoughtful human alive. She volunteers at the animal shelter on weekends and sends cookies to the new neighbors. She doesn't have a single enemy that I know of. My shock spiraled quickly to fury, contemplating the danger posed by her information being sold to the highest anonymous bidder. Anyone could steal her identity, open illicit credit cards, access our bank accounts. The ramifications were endless. I felt powerless yet responsible to somehow stop this. In a frenzied rush, I copied all the site details into an encrypted password manager under Jenna ID's safety. I didn't mention anything to her yet, not wanting to panic her without a plan. Over the next 2 weeks, I became consumed with researching identity theft safeguards and trying to get the listing removed. But I hit dead end after dead end with the hosting site. These people clearly didn't care that they were destroying lives. Eventually, I had to show Jenna to warn her. She was confused and terrified at first, but then eerily calm, saying we would tackle this together. It ended up being a bizarre blessing, bringing us closer as we proactively froze credit reports, changed passwords, got alert systems set up. We stayed vigilant for months with no unauthorized activity detected aside from Jenna suddenly getting loads of Spanish language scam calls. I still don't know how or why Jenna was targeted. My best guess is someone hacked her HR system at work. I permanently deleted all dark web access off my devices, clearly a dangerous Pandora's box not to be meddled with again. But the whole ordeal definitely taught us important lessons about cherishing one another and not taking security for granted. Also reinforced that Jenna has nerves of steel. She was a rock star through the whole mess. Probably time I do something special to show her my appreciation. Maybe a getaway weekend is in order. I still don't know what possessed me and my twin brother Caleb to go poking around on the dark web. We were 13 and stupid, I guess, but Caleb was always the more reckless twin. While I was reading or building model rockets in my room, he was stereotypically causing mischief or petty vandalism around town with the bro squad. So when he came barging into my room one rainy Saturday afternoon going on about hidden websites full of insane secrets regular people couldn't access, obviously I was intrigued. After an insane amount of Googling and downloading various Tor browsers to mask our location, Caleb finally got access to the infamous dark web. It was nothing like I envisioned, no fancy graphics or normal website setups. Just black screens with neon green text and lines of random code everywhere. Caleb kept having to try different convoluted URLs since sites went defunct so fast. After clicking through pages for black market auctions, weird cult-like chat rooms, and drug operations, Caleb landed us on a site advertising guns for anonymous sale. My blood ran cold just seeing the listings for handguns and assault rifles alongside ammo case quantities. Like this was some everyday gay page and not a dangerous firearms trafficking operation. Rows and rows of destruction for sale. Caleb's eyes lit up like it was Christmas as he scrolled eagerly, utterly enthralled by all the options. Whoa, check out this bad boy. He crowed, pulling out a listing for a military-grade shotgun with a holographic sight and extended mag. We could be unstoppable with that sucker. Just saunter into school blasting. Can you even imagine Mr. Davis' face? We'd own that place. He was getting way too into fantasizing, so I forced a tense chuckle. But then he clicked to add the shotgun to the cart. My chest seized up. Wait, was he seriously contemplating buying one of these? I searched his face for any indication he was just joking. We should totally get this one. Then everyone would worship us, he said with a little too much awe in his voice. The encrypted checkout loaded and he grabbed the mouse to enter info. Wait, you're not actually buying that, right? I attempted to laugh it off, anxiety spiking. I tried to wrestle the mouse away as he blitzed around the page. Chill Winston. Just wanted to see the payment steps, he scoffed. Not like we have $600 to drop on this badass zombie slayer. But as a Bitcoin wallet address popped up on the screen awaiting transfer of cryptocurrency, the gravity of what almost just happened crashed over me. We had clicked through to a fully functional black market trafficking deadly weapons to anyone anonymous enough to pay. This wasn't just some scammy fake dark web page. Real violent criminals were here too, stocking up, I realized with dawning horror. Our careless clicks had shown this site was the real evil deal. We were in over our heads. Caleb's eyes were slowly widening too as he took in the payment details, the scope of damage and danger two impulsive kids could enable finally hitting. Sure, we were just two nobodies too young and broke to actually follow through. But what if Caleb wasn't posturing about owning the school earlier? Would a disturbed classmate with crypto funds be finishing the purchase we started right now, while we foolishly giggled over FOP stats? The dark web had no guardrails to curb human depravity's deadly ends, and my brother and I had gone barreling straight down its abyss unprepared. I pointed out, panicking, that we didn't even have $600 between us, let alone mysterious digital currency. Caleb tried for a good 30 minutes to understand crypto transfers, but it was hopeless. The one saving grace of our teenage state was neither of us could complete an illegal firearm purchase. We finally backed out and turned off the dark web browser, sitting in troubled silence. The insidious websites we had tapped into undermined the safe, suburban reality we had taken for granted. Sure, the normal internet had its dangers, but on the dark web, literally anything was for sale. Guns, drugs, identities. Zero ethical code or accountability. Caleb broke the tension by half-joking we could get crazy rich becoming Bitcoin barons and running a black market site ourselves. But I shot back that only sociopaths could thrive facilitating such unregulated danger and deceit. Thankfully, Caleb looked properly disturbed as what we almost set in motion sank in further. We had a pact to never go clicking down depraved rabbit holes on the dark net again. It clearly bred moral decay and ruin. In the months after, I fell into a bout of insomnia, haunted by how simple it had been for two middle schoolers to nearly score lethal weapons through the lawless wasteland populated by society's soulless outcasts. The anarchy disgusted me. But when I walked by Caleb's room now, I noticed he routinely deleted his browser history, hiding something he clearly knew I'd disapprove of. The dark web's oozing malevolence had apparently sunk its claws into my once sweet brother. By sophomore year, when Caleb started running with a rougher crowd, missing curfew, and asking weird specific questions about offshore banking, I tried warning my parents dark forces had corrupted him and he needed help. But they wrote it off as normal teen rebellion. Only I knew exactly when he had started his slide into the shadows. The night we tempted soul-decaying fate and anarchy stared right back from that glowing computer screen, welcoming my brother into its void with open arms. I've struggled since to determine, did the dark web turn Caleb evil, or just reveal sickness already festering within? I don't even know what possessed me to download that Tor browser in the first place. Morbid fascination. Months of pandemic boredom eating away at my sanity. Some childish attempt to prove I still had an edgy rule-breaking side. I should have trusted my intuition screaming this was a disastrous idea. But that little red onion icon taunted me from my desktop for weeks before I finally caved. My college buddy Eric had sent me a Wired article all about the infamous hidden services on the dark web that supposedly let you access protected information and black market sites through encrypted anonymity. He jokingly triple dog dared me to poke around the underbelly of the net and report back any good conspiracy theory forums or government secrets. But actually clicking that ominous browser icon felt different. Dangerous, my pulse quickening as I disabled location services on my laptop. I hesitated, cursor blinking ominously before entering the long alphabet soup web address Eric had sent. Was I really doing this? Every horror movie I'd ever seen from The Ring to Hostel flashed panic warning alarm bells in my brain. Scenes of hapless characters stumbling into violent fates by tempting technological fate. But that little red onion icon kept taunting me from my desktop, morbid curiosity slowly eroding my resolve over weeks until finally I caved in. I carefully typed the eerie 16-character link Eric provided, hitting enter before I could overthink things further. But I instantly regretted dismantling the sacred barrier to this uncensored underworld no ethical person was meant to witness. The phrase "take the red pill" from the Matrix mocked me as the browser scrambled to make connections, ominous green code raining down the black screen. I felt disembodied, like I was offering up my real-world soul in exchange for this croon glimpse behind the veil. The encryption software ran for endless minutes, routing my location through chains of proxy servers and onion routers to mask my digital identity, the process strangely more convoluted than setting up a normal private browser. The longer it took, the deeper my sense of unease grew. What did I sign up to see, and would it be possible to unsee things once that box opened? Or would the darkness somehow follow me back into the light if I made it out? Finally, after 5 agonizing minutes, the first dark web page loaded, except there was no flashy graphics or videos or ads I was accustomed to on normal sites, just plain neon green text on the endless black background. Ominous site names and snippets of forum post conversations were visible, interrupted by cascading walls of matrix-esque code. Pages upon pages of numbers and symbols concealing larger secrets. I skimmed cryptic titles referencing illegal wares like Night Bank, Marmalade Circus, Black Phoenix. They hinted at salacious content but gave no real window into what dark impulses or beliefs lurked behind those encoded walls. I felt utterly in over my head but equally enthralled, like I had become a hacker version of Indiana Jones who through sheer technological means had slipped into a forbidden tomb now hungry to unlock its secrets. Would it contain knowledge and revelations too powerful for me to handle? Or horrors that would leave my psyche permanently scarred? There were apparently no guardrails here to curb human nature's infinite potential for both brilliance and depravity. I had just offered up my mind to subsume it all. Most of the early links seemed shady but innocuous curiosities. Underground book clubs analyzing banned literature, hackers sharing tips for improving Tor connections, chatrooms for wanted pickup artists. Gray moral territory, perhaps, but nothing explicitly criminal. Until I stumbled on a site called Cage 48 that made my stomach drop. Heart suddenly hammering, I read the thread title, Fresh Young Meat, and the chilling snippets of lewd commentary from grotesque usernames like Bonafide Pig and Kidnapper Ken discussing high-quality product arriving Friday. How they preferred college girls because they played nice trying to escape compared to defiant ones they had to discipline. Attached were sadistic thumbnail videos that made me gag before I could even click play, terrified young women bound with duct tape inside dog crates, crying silently under the glow of red record lights. I slammed my laptop shut, bile rising in my throat. This could no be real. It had to be some elaborate staged prank, right? But the detached cruelty in those forum posts pointed towards something far more insidiously real and evil than I was prepared for. What kind of psychopaths were actually hurting vulnerable girls while casually chatting depraved kidnapping methods in between, like discussing sports stats or work meetings? And why the hell was I tempting fate interacting with such predators in their lair? The thought that those terrified girls were someone's loved ones made my blood run cold. Surely there had to be a way to identify and rescue them from this streaming torture chamber. Yet 5 minutes later, self-preservation losing badly to morbid curiosity, I opened the laptop again. Hand shaking, I clicked the first nightmare video file, needing confirmation this was fictional staged horror, not actual human suffering. But the girl's muffled whimpers and the all too familiar dorm decor behind her soon shattered any frail denial. Tears flooded my eyes, realizing she couldn't be much younger than my own little sister. I felt complicit witnessing this victim's abuse like some virtual crime scene rubbernecker. I frantically scrolled through the thread looking for any identifiable details about her location, desperate to know if she could still be saved from this sadistic live stream, until I noticed the comments had updated to Lurker 987 visited 5 minutes ago, enjoying the show. My blood turned to ice. These monsters were referring to me. They knew I was here peeking into their depraved world. I slammed the laptop closed again, shame and panic warring within me. But it was too late to feign ignorance. I had tempted fate and clicked into the devil's lair, and this evil now had its eyes on me. Thanks for listening in. If you like these stories and want to hear more, then please subscribe and like and support this new channel. We have more stories for you to listen to.